Connecting to audio. Hey, Richard. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, Lisa. Hi, Dick.
Dick, you're muted.
Unmute yourself.
Nora, do you have him muted?
I do.
He can unmute himself. I'm
There you
letting
go,
people
Dick.
in right now because it's everybody has to get admitted in.
Okay.
How's Mr. Neats doing?
It's doing very well. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Great. Thank you, Richard. Good to see
So
you.
good to see you.
Find a barber yet?
I took the clippers from the side of my head.
I have to tell you, you got to be careful with that, though. My husband almost gave himself a mullet.
We're getting people in, joining still, so I'm just admitting them too. Cheryl, between you and I, we can admit them in.
Quick trigger fingers. So, Tom Clancy from Connecticut, thank you for joining us.
Oh, wonderful.
He's a great author. I love reading his stuff.
You're right. I wish, and so does he, that he has his paycheck, right? So Tom Clancy is one of our network directors in Connecticut, so welcome.
Yep.
So the time is 12:01. So I want to welcome everybody to a dream I've had for a very long time, to have a mastermind series. And this pandemic actually is helping my little dream come to fruition, with the help of such a fabulous leadership team that we have, women and men that are totally passionate about delivering great information and education to others that are like-minded in our CRS New England region community. So I'm going to turn it over. The co-hosts today, our education leaders, are Nora Lynch in my left-hand corner and Kelly Catallo. And Marie's going to be our guest speaker today. I'll let them read her bio. She is presently sitting on as a co-chair for finance. So I'm thankful to have our national president right from our own New England region, Richard Waystack, joining us. And feel free to say hi during the question and answers. They're going to tell you the flow of the day. And I'm going to stop talking. It's 12:02, so these girls can roll out a fabulous program. Take it over. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, Cheryl, just if you can just look at the admitting.
I will take care of that.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. So this is Nora, and I'm so glad to have Marie Presti with us. And quick little bio for Marie. For the last 20 years, Marie has been a passionate advocate for her clients, whether they're buying, selling, or just needing good real estate advice. She has a proven track record of making advantageous deals from the purchase of a first home to the sale of a multi-million-dollar mansion. Marie has been a designated CRS for over 14 years and has many other designations as well, as including the ABR, the SRES, the CRB, the GRI, the Green designation, and the LMC. She's been very involved in the Realtor Association, as many of us know, at all levels, the local, state, and national levels, starting as 2006 as a State Leadership Academy graduate. And in 2017, Marie was named the Greater Boston Realtor of the Year. And following that, in 2018, she was named the president of Greater Boston Association of Realtors. Marie is currently an MAR board member and also on the board of directors of MLS PIN. And she has an MBA in marketing and is a state approved real estate instructor and has taught many classes, including GRI Finance, which I took, RPR, and also ZIP forms. She has 2 offices in Newton and Stoneham, both 5 miles from Boston. And also she is currently serving as finance co-chair for the CRS New England region and as a national finance chair. So thank you, Marie, and welcome. I'm so glad you have so much to share with us today.
Great. Thanks, Nora. I appreciate it. And hello, everyone. It's great to see a good turnout here. I'm actually honored to be the first Mastermind, oh my goodness, presenter. I just was talking with some of our leadership team about my experience, the stimulus, and they were like, we want you to tell everybody about it. So I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. So let's start by saying, I'm not an expert. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a real estate attorney. However, I'm like you, and I have gone ahead and taken advantage or tried to take advantage of some of these programs that are out there. So I thought it would make sense for me to share what I've done and what I know about the programs. Okay, so we'll start by, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully this will work. Okay, great. And what I'm going to do is I think I'll start from the beginning. We'll see how it goes here. So, okay. And we're going to take questions at the end, just so you guys know. I mean, if you do have questions, put them in the chat box. But I'm going to try to get through everything in 10 minutes, which is going to be a feat in and of itself. So, okay. So one of the things that's happening with all of us, obviously, is we're getting impacted in different ways. We're across all of New England. And so I know with different states, each state is handling COVID a different way. Are you doing in-person showings? Are you taking different precautions? That sort of thing. And so one of the questions that I wanted to know from all of you, and since we're recording, I think it'll be good for our leadership team to know, is how are you being impacted? So I thought I will do a quick poll just to go ahead. Let me launch a different poll. I want to launch this poll here. Okay, so if those of you, did you see a poll pop up?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just one quick question. And my question to you is, what impact have you had on your business? So if you could just take 10 seconds and answer it. No impact, you kind of the same as you were before. So I've heard a business is better, their business is better. Some people have said their business is down. If you can estimate whether it's down 25, 50, 75%. And then there's some I don't really know sort of things. And by the way, I just want you all to know, if I take a poll, it's anonymous, so we don't know who's answering what. So I want you to feel like you can share and you know, tell us, because we don't know who's answering what. All right. All right. So I'm going to share the results. Can everybody see the results? All right. So it looks like somebody actually, 13% of us is doing better. Some of us is worse. Somebody did it looks like 13% shut down. And some don't really know what the impact is at this point. So that's kind of good for us to know what's happening. And I wanted to know before I kind of went on that it looks like there's a mix. And I think that is that's the key here with the COVID, is it's going to impact everybody differently. So let me do all right, just did that. So what I want to start by is talking about what has the government given us for opportunities to maybe take advantage if it did impact us. And so I want to start by talking about the PPP program, which is the Paycheck Protection Program. This program is part of the CARES Act. And just to kind of give you a quick rundown, it's for businesses that have less than 500 employees. So it's supposed to be for small businesses. S Corps, C Corps, LLCs, independent contractors can all apply for this PPP program. And businesses can obtain up to a $10 million amount in loan. That's the max, and I'm sure that's for the larger companies. The key for this program is that it can be 100% forgivable. And the question is, well, how can you make it be forgivable? It's forgivable if you meet the guidelines and you make sure if you get the loan, you spend the money in the right places. So basically 75% of what you get for a loan has to be spent on payroll costs. And it has to be spent within 8 weeks of your receipt of it through the end of June. So you can use 25% of it for lease and utilities as well, but I'm going to let you know in the next slide how to get qualified for it and the numbers. So just so you know, whatever you collect, whatever you qualify for, 75% has to be paid for payroll. Now we'll talk about what payroll is. And if any of you are employing yourself as an employee and you've hired yourself and you've paid yourself a salary, you are included in that, just so you know, okay? So if you do, some people have employees. So for example, I have 2 employees plus myself. So I'm 3 employees total. And I ended up not paying myself for several weeks on my payroll. And one of my employees, I dropped down in the number of hours. And so the guideline is that if you get this money, you have to rehire these people back to their capacity by the end of June. Okay. All right, so it's calculated based on 2.5 times your monthly payroll costs over the past 12 months. So what you did, and I'll tell you what I did, is I took what I paid myself of my base salary. And by the way, you know, if you pay yourself over $100,000, you have to max yourself out at 100. So that's for all businesses. Each employee can only be maxed out at 100,000. And by the way, if you have employees that are not living in the United States, you can't count them in there, which I think most of us are okay with that. And so, but in addition to the base salary, you get to add extra things. You get to add FICA taxes that you had to pay. Now that's the company had to pay. State taxes that the company had to pay. Healthcare costs that the company had to pay. And then company retirement contributions as well. So this is, when you add all of these pieces up together, you're going to get a total. You divide that by over the last 12 months, you divide it by 12, and that's kind of how you come up with your monthly amount. And then you take that monthly amount and you multiply that by 2.5. Now, for anyone who's interested after the fact, I have a link here to go right to the online application. And the online application, it's only a couple of pages. It was pretty easy to look at. And if we have time later, I can call it up if you guys think you want me to do that. The key for this program is you have to go through your local bank to get it. So I'm going to just tell you a quick story. I have my bank, who I've been with for, I want to say maybe 25 years, is a local community bank. And when I first went to them, basically, at this point now, it was 2 weeks ago, I went to them to apply as soon as it came out. They basically told me that they couldn't accept my application because they were only accepting applications for commercial loan customers. And I said, well, I don't have a commercial loan with you. I have a commercial deposit with you, and I have all my money with you. Why wouldn't you take that into account? And I believe my bank was not the only one to do that. I heard Bank of America did the same thing initially. So they first opened it up. And of course, banks want to protect themselves, right? So if they're going to accept application from anyone who has a commercial loan, it's kind of protecting them to make sure they're getting paid for their loans. So I think that was part of what they were thinking. But the reality was they were trying to service their own clients. Well, I was not, I was a squeaky wheel. I was not quiet. And I ended up emailing the president of the bank, which if you have a local bank that you're dealing with, go to the highest person you can go to, email them and ask the question. And I said, you know, I give you a lot of business. I've been a very loyal person. And what can I do to have you accept my application? And lo and behold, it took a couple of days, but I emailed every day and in a nice professional way was persistent. And ultimately I got an email about a week ago that said, we will process your application at this point. And then they ended up opening up the bank to all commercial deposit and loan clients. But I probably was the first one in the list of commercial deposit customers because I was a squeaky wheel and because I didn't just sit around waiting for something to happen. And I'm actually happy to say that I got email on Wednesday that said I got conditionally approved. So I was pretty happy with that. So when it comes to how did I calculate the amount that I was going to put in there, you can account for the payroll consists of compensation to employees, wages, commissions, cash tips, vacation pay you may have had to pay, plus all the benefits that I already mentioned. Okay, so it added up, just from my perspective, just so you know, I also paid myself extra salary over the last 12 months to be able to put into my own retirement account, but it came from company contribution. So I was able to add that up all together. And my total PPP conditional approved loan was over $31,000, which was pretty good. Now, I don't have the money in hand, full disclosure, but I've been told I'm supposed to close this week. So, okay. So what do you have to submit? You'd submit your signed application, which is about 3 pages. I had to submit my K-1s because I am an S Corp. So you do have to submit your business tax returns. My understanding is if you're an independent contractor, you would have to submit your own 1040s as well. And if you're paying yourself through a payroll company, what's really great was I was using Paychex, and I logged on to Paychex, and there was a report called PPP report that I could run off of my own account to get the report that I needed. I did have to, they did the report only for 12 months for 2019 or 2020. So I did have to take 2 reports, kind of merge them together to get the last 12 months. So if you are paying yourself from a payroll company, you can get that right from your payroll. You can ask them for that report. They've got that pre-made. Or if you are an independent contractor, you might have to come up with these calculations yourself. But if it is just you and you are your only person as an independent contractor, it should be very easy to take a look at your taxes from last year, 2019, and submit that. I also had to give quarterly tax reports because of the paychecks, because I used the payroll company. So I had to give from them certified reports from them. What I did is I put them all into a Dropbox, sent the link through email. So it was pretty easy. And again, if anyone wants this PowerPoint, I do have links in here, and I'm happy to share that with you after the fact. I can email it. Okay, so the other loan option that the government has offered is an Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, EIDL. This is meant to be for not necessarily payroll, but for everything else. And when they first pitched it, I was all excited because they said in 3 days, we're going to give you $10,000 if you apply and get accepted. Well, what happened was a lot of the accountants got some clarification just in the last week or so, and they have limited it to $1,000 per employee for that initial go around. So for me, for example, I have 3 employees. I could apply and get up to $1,000 for each employee. So there's $3,000 initially. The loan does cap out at $2 million. And this truly, other than the initial advance, either that $3,000 or $1,000 or $10,000, whatever it is a true loan. So you would be paying it back. It's a pretty good interest rate, but it is a loan that you'd pay back. But it could cover you through this period if you need it. And it does cover things like, utilities and rent. And actually, other things that this covers are things like, for example, if you own a investment property and you don't have, and it's an Airbnb, and you don't have income coming in because of it, or you have investment property and your tenant lost their job, so now they're not paying you rent. It's the loss because of COVID. So this includes many different options as a loan. The big issue for this one right now is they're not taking any new applications at this time. This you have to apply through the SBA website directly. And I've got the link in here, but the key is right now, if you go to look as of today, you won't see, it'll say apply. I even tried it right before I came on just to see if maybe they turned it back on again. And the reality is they are saying, they keep looping you back to the main page. I do know, as you all know, probably if you're keeping up with the news, that the government's trying to come up with a new extended, because we've been told as of last Wednesday at night that the funding has been exhausted. Now, in my opinion, I don't know if it's truly all of the funding, but let's just put it this way. Many people may have applied for that $10,000 grant, and now if they realize that only $3,000 or $1,000 is forgivable, they may choose to give it back. And actually, Kelly and I were just talking before this, that Shake Shack, for example, has given back into this program, I think it's $10 million, that they realize they're not going to need, or they're donating it, whatever they're doing, it's going back into the fund. So the key is that it's, that we may find that this program is going to open up sooner than we think. Okay, so corporations, partnerships, limited partnerships, trusts, LLCs can actually apply for this EIDL loan. And this, I have a link here, which is at least a walk through the application process, even though the application itself is not on there yet. Okay, so then there's unemployment assistance. And the question becomes, every state's different as to where the link is. But if you are an employee and you've paid yourself and now you take yourself off of payroll, you could apply for unemployment as well. So I actually have applied for the unemployment assistance. And because I was an employee of myself, I could apply regularly. Now, as of this morning, even if you're an independent contractor, the link has come out to apply as an independent contractor as well. So you can submit, as of last week you couldn't, but as of this morning you can, at least in Massachusetts, I should say. I don't know about the other states. And if you end up, what can you get with this unemployment assistance? The max usually you can get is $600 a week, plus $25 for every child that you have. And it can go up to 39 weeks of unemployment benefits. So I encourage all of you, if you are an independent contractor or if you've paid yourself in some other role and you can show and prove that you've gotten this income. So for example, what I had to do to apply for this unemployment assistance is I had to show all my W-2s for the last 12 months and show that I paid myself that amount of money. And then it's also sent me as an employer confirmation of me as an employee to say, yes, I've paid, the company has paid it in order to get this. So it's a little bit on both sides. The next thing I'm talking about is the stimulus check payments. And I hope everybody knows that everyone is supposed to be eligible for this if they worked and made money. So the question is, you're eligible if you were single and paid less than were paid less than $99,000. After 99 or higher, you're not eligible. But it starts at, one more minute or you're done. Do I have, she's on mute, so I can't. Okay. Keep going? Give me a thumbs up if I should keep going. Yeah.
So can we wrap up this page, Marie, because we're running short on time. We have some questions for you.
Okay, all right. So I'll just finish with, if you're head of household and you make under $112,500, you could get a max of $1,200. If you file jointly and you make under 150K, you could get $2,400 max. And you've got to look at these places on your 1040, your tax form that you filled out to figure out what that number is. It's basically your adjusted gross income. And if you're an independent contractor, you would look at, it's really your net income, not your gross on your 1099. All right, this is where you'd go to find out if you're going to get your payments. So, and I think I was going to take a survey. We can still do that. I have the survey available, but if you'd rather take questions, I can take questions now. You're on mute, Kelly. Yeah. Nora and Kelly,
Okay.
get off of it so you can ask the questions. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Marie, for all that great information. We're going to move to the questions, and if we still have time left, then we'll go back to the poll. But Nora Lynch would like to know, what are the interest rates on the loan?
Oh, I believe it's like not even 1% is what I understand. So, but I'll look that up for you and add it before I finalize that PowerPoint for you.
Okay, and then can you apply for unemployment even if you got the PPP?
Yeah, so here's what I'm doing. And this is what I was told from my bank. So I put myself on unemployment from weeks ago, right? From a couple of weeks ago. As soon as I get my PPP money, I have to rehire myself. But for those weeks that I wasn't paying, I can get unemployment. But once I put myself back on the payroll, then I stop with the unemployment. So until I get the money in my hand, I'm not going to assume anything, even though I got conditionally approved. I still haven't gotten the money. And my banker at my bank said, that's okay. He also said that I can apply, now that I've applied for the PPP, I can apply for the EIDL loan as well, as long as I let them know that I have applied for PPP and for the amount that I applied for.
Okay, and what bank is it that you're going through, Marie?
So I'm going through the Village Bank, is my local bank. And again, I think all of you really go to your local bank, the place that you've done the most business with, because you've got the best shot of them accepting your application.
Okay.
And one of the slides I didn't show was what do I recommend for all of you? I mean, I recommend that you educate yourself, number one. Number two, that I recommend you be persistent in going after these things. Do not let up. Everyone should be applying with their local bank, even though they're saying that the SBA loan is filled, because the moment it turns back on again, guess what? Just like with me, I applied even though they told me I couldn't, and I was at the top of the line when they ended up opening it up. So you should do the same thing. The third thing I said was to be patient, because this is, once you apply, it is a waiting game. And so I know for a couple of weeks there, I was not expecting to get anything, so.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question? Even if you didn't type it, you want to raise your hand or? Okay, Phyllis, we got to mute you.
Can I do that? Can I do the survey now?
No, Phyllis has a question.
Oh, Phyllis has a question. Okay, hi Phyllis.
Hi there. Hi, everybody. I'm from Swampscott, Massachusetts, if anybody didn't know that. My question is, I want to see who did more business since this virus, and I'd like to hear from them.
Well, it kind of goes off topic. I don't know that we have a lot of time. Rick Coughlin, do you want to speak on that?
Let me see if, is my mic working or no?
You're on.
Okay, I've had some issues. I don't know if the mic is working.
You're on.
Okay, so I've just found that we're being real smart about what we're doing. We're wearing masks, gloves, whatever, but business has been up. I think that just by, we're a small company, so I'm still coming into the office and picking up the phone. And that's made the big difference. There are still people out there who want to either buy or sell. And
Right.
Business has been up for us.
All right. Okay, we have one more question. Lynn would like to know, can you get the unemployment if you are just doing much less in business?
My understanding is yes, even if it's basically if you have a drop. So I think the question becomes, when are you still paying yourself? First of all, I don't know if you're an independent contractor or an employee. So what happened was I set myself up as an employee. It sounds like you're an independent. So if you're an independent and you have pending deals and they are closing during this time, I'm not sure that the unemployment office would accept you. They may give you a week or two in between, because on a given week, if you're not getting paid a commission check, it's possible that they would give you that $600 for that particular week. But every week that you do get paid, they're going to ask you how much. And I'm sure if you're getting a big commission check at some point, they'll probably say at some point, no. But if you don't have any right now, when you apply for a couple of weeks, my suggestion is apply now for those few weeks until you get paid.
Okay, fantastic, Marie. We want to thank you for being the first presenter on the Mastermind Mondays. We're super excited about that. I think you had a lot of great information. So if you have a handout, we will put that on the RRC group page where people can grab your handout. One thing that we want to bring everybody's attention to is the benefits that you have by being a CRS. And one thing that's coming up is this Thursday, April 23rd, is Learning Fest 3.0 is happening right live on the Facebook CRS page. Matthew Rayburn, Kim Knapp, Rich Sands, Debbie Yost, and that will be live, and you can access it from the link from crs.com. Our continuing series, we're moving on next week. We're super excited to have Laura Monroe from Inman is going to be our speaker. She's going to be speaking about remarketing yourself to compete in today's virtual marketplace. So when Nora and I were talking about all the great topics and the things people could do along with Lisa and Cheryl, we wanted to be able to give everybody a nugget that they can come on Mondays, quick 30 minutes, go back to your business and have something. The week after that, Alex Camilio, he's going to come on about securitizing your virtual business. Should you really be uploading those tours to Zillow? What should you be doing when you're in a Zoom room to keep things secure? Following that, Joe Scoot has been having great success with the virtual open houses and showings, and he's going to show you how he's doing it. Kurt Thompson, stay home and profit. How can you leverage people and not leave your house and still earn money? Addie Owens from Florida, if you were at Celebration, Addie was fantastic on resiliency. She's going to be coming back with the bounce back, hopefully, right about the time we're all bouncing back into our business. We got a whole agenda full of people after that. But if you stay tuned and you engage in our Facebook page and you join the Facebook group, that's where we're going to be able to post everything up. If you know other CRSs in New England, if you could please just tag them into those pages so that we can build the engagement, we would love that. And with that, Nora, we're on time. It is 12:29.
And Kelly, Richard wanted to say something. So Richard?
Yes, Richard.
Thanks, Kelly, Nora. Great job today. And I also wanted to give a shout out. Marie, great information. And people need to follow up. I know two of our experts, Dale Carlton and Chris Bird, have done 2 free webinars. And it's great information, important information for us. But I wanted to give a shout out to Cheryl, Lisa, and the leadership team of New England. You were the first ones to do a Zoom meeting with your members. And that has just caught on like fire around the country. And everyone goes back to you. And obviously, I attend a lot of them. West Coast one's a little bit tough, but I'm in my pajamas at their meetings at 9 o'clock at night. But I give credit to New England because you folks were the first ones to get on board doing this. The masterminding that's being done is the best thing that we can do. It shows the benefit of being a CRS designee. We are still doing classes, and we've provided a lot of free information for people, but we're still holding classes for those who wish to get their designation. So we're balancing those who want it free, those who are willing to pay. The bottom line is people are still doing business. I put 2 under contract last week, 1 virtually, 1 not. And we're learning how to do business in a new normal. That's one of the greatest benefits of being a CRS. So to Cheryl and the leadership team, Nora, Kelly, Marie, great job. Good to see you. I'm seeing folks like my good friend Dick Neitz down there, Annie Blatz, former president of MAR, just some great people who are CRSs in New England. So thank you all. Continued great work that you're doing at Chicago and RRC. We are very thankful for what you're doing. So thank you all.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate that. So we'll wrap up with, will there be a schedule somewhere posted, Kelly? All those wonderful names and.
Oh yeah, so upon the approval tomorrow of the committee, we will have them all posted in the Facebook page. So you'll see that there's events that Lisa has set up. We're gonna start filling them in with who the speaker is and what the topic is. Beautiful. And again, our goal is continuity with impact. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give people value for their membership, but every Monday, 12 o'clock. And if you have an idea for a topic, please email it into Nora and myself.
And we will be posting Marie's presentation, if that's okay, under the private group page, because we can post documents there as opposed to the public page. So if you know people—
Will you let me still run the poll? I'd love to. It only takes maybe 10 seconds for people to fill it out.
Sure.
Is that all right now? All right. So let me run this poll here. It's got, I think, 3 or 4 questions. And if you guys want to answer it, the question is just whether or not you've applied. If you have, which ones you've applied for. And if you've received any money. And if you have—
It went away. Oh, it was there and then it went away. Oops.
Did you get it? No, it's gone.
Well, it went away. I could answer 2 out of the 3 and then it went away.
All right, let me try again.
Okay, don't close it.
Yeah. Does everyone see it?
Yeah?
Okay.
But it's not letting me submit. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. There was a 4th question.
I can only see 2 questions.
Just scroll.
Scroll down.
Scroll it.
Yeah, scroll down.
You guys knocked it out of the park. Unbelievable. Nora and Kelly and Marie, thank you so much. Cheryl, it's your brainchild. Thank you so much. I'm just so proud to be part of this group and love you guys.
Everybody do it. I'm going to share the results. Can everybody see the results?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Great.
That was great.
Are you able to put that slide in as well, that's the poll sharing results in your PowerPoint?
I think I can. I'll do some screenshots and try to add them in there. That sounds like a good idea. Recording, I think the recording will do them well, but yeah, I'll try to do the screenshots.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
Very good.
Everybody.
Good to see you.
Great week.
We'll
We'll
see you
next
next
Monday.
week.
Spread the word.
Have a great week.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Be safe.
Safe.